Hello yogis and bookish friends, and welcome to Novel Yoga, where the yoga flows from the page. Today's book is Helen of Troy by Margaret George. I think I've genuinely lost count of how many different retellings I've read about the Battle of Troy, but I love that this is from Helen's perspective, and although it's not one of the most book talk ones that you can find in retellings, I really enjoyed this story. I really like that it's not from the men's perspective. We're not looking at Menelaus or Achilles or Agamemnon. We're actually focusing on Helen's perspective. After all, she was the woman who supposedly started it all. I like how this book follows Helen's choice to go with Paris and leave her daughter behind. What a decision to make, to be with a man she hates, or to follow a man she loves but leave her daughter behind. I think whatever you think about her choice, it was her choice to make, and you have to admire that she made it. Whether it's right or wrong, we're not going to go into today, but it's that courage to make the choice that's right for you that we're going to think about. And that brings us to today's theme, which is choice. Now, I'm going to hope here that none of us have to make choices that are quite as dramatic as to have the consequence that they will start a war. But we do have the power to make choices at times in our lives, and we need to be brave enough to take those choices. And it might be a huge choice in your life, a change of career, a change in your relationship, or it might be something small. Making the choice to come to the mat today, making the choice to eat healthy or have that extra cream donut. Okay, we have these choices and we are faced with them on a daily basis, and I want us to put ourselves first today. So today's flow is going to open the heart chakra, and this chakra allows us to make heart-centered choices. And I encourage you to make choices throughout your practice today. Choose how deep you'll go into a pose. Choose whether you'll take a variation or a modification of that pose that better suits your needs today. I want us to think about choice and bring it to the mat so that we can move forward in our practice. So join me on the mat. You've made the choice to come. Now let's enjoy our flow. Thanks for joining me on the mat for our Helen of Troy practice on the theme of choices. Now, I think any of us when faced with a big choice have probably heard those words of wisdom, take a deep breath. And there is great truth in that. Before making any choices, taking a deep breath in, clearing your mind, is such a great way to go. And I'm sure that when Helen of Troy was faced with the choice of running off with the handsome Paris or staying with her husband, she probably took a deep breath. So we're going to begin our practice with some deep breathing exercises. But before we do, I want you to really think about choice, because today I want you to use your choices to serve you on the mat. If I make a suggestion for a pose or a breath that doesn't honour your body, adapt to what works. If when doing our breath work, I'm holding the breath too long for you, it's your choice to shorten it to what's comfortable. If I'm not holding it long enough, it's your choice to hold it longer. Please make choices that feel right for your body and honour your body as we go through this practice. So we'll begin by inhaling for a count of 4. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. 1, 2. Exhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. 1, 2. Inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold for 2, 1, 2, exhale for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold for 2, 1, 2. Now we're going to continue with that deep breathing, but I want you to find a pattern that suits you best. Perhaps you want to extend that inhale for a count of 6 and then hold for a count of 4. Find the pattern that honours what you need to do in your breath work today. And I invite you to close your eyes, and as we continue to take our deep breathing, we will listen to a quote from Helen of Troy. So close your eyes, continue with those deep inhales and exhales, and consider the following. I know now that to die without tasting this is truly not to have lived. In this, and this only, have I lived, to feel all, to dare all, to try all. I think this quote really speaks to us about making brave choices. We only get one life, and it's easy to follow the path that we feel is preordained. But if we are brave enough to make those choices for ourselves, who knows what kind of opportunities we can open up. As we go through the practice, today on the mat, think about those choices. Can you take the choice to hold a pose a little bit longer, to try a pose you haven't tried before? And also, when we finish our practice and you go through the rest of your day, continue to be brave in your choices and make choices that honour you. We're going to begin in Hero's Pose now. So if you come onto your knees, we're going to take the Ashvarantana Mudra. Now this mudra is for giving a perspective on your choices and leading you to your life path. So what a fantastic mudra for us to begin with. You can join your little finger and your ring finger and your thumbs together. Join your palms and then interlock the remaining fingers. So your index finger and middle finger are interlocked, your thumb, ring finger and little fingers are to touch. Hold this mudra in front of you and we'll take some inhales and some exhales. You can just let it be a natural breath now if you prefer, or you can continue with our deep breathing. And consider what behaviours are not serving your potential. What choices are you making that are not what's best for you, but perhaps are better for other people? I want you to renounce your negative habits and commit to a new resolve of making choices that serve you. It's not selfish to think of ourselves. Sometimes we need to make that choice for what we need and to honour our own bodies and minds and souls. Continue to hold the breath. Continue to hold the mudra as you just take the time to consider your choices. Is there a choice that you've wanted to make, a choice you've wanted to take, but you've been too afraid? Are there choices you make that don't serve you? As we go through today's flow, I hope you unlock this channel to make heart-centered decisions, decisions that serve you, as we open up our heart chakra. So we're going to remain in our hero pose, or fun dog pose. I'll come to the side so you can see what we're taking next. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Interlock your fingers behind you and lift your arms into a bowing Balasana. This pose activates the third eye, the chakra of intuition, allowing you to use your intuition to lead your choices through today. Choose how high you want to raise your arms. Use your intuition to serve you, what feels good in your body. It is a lovely shoulder stretch, so make the most of it. And then slowly roll up. And I want you to take an intuitive pose to counter that, so to relax your shoulders. It might be just simple shoulder circles. You might want to press back your hands and take a reverse tabletop. Just to stretch your shoulders the other way. Perhaps you lean back on your hands and windscreen wipe your legs a few times. Just to release the legs when they've been bent underneath you. Make that choice. What does your body need right this second? And then we're going to come into butterfly. So soles of the feet to touch, and just allow your knees to bounce up and down a few times to release those hips. Continue to inhale and exhale here. And from butterfly, I'm going to turn on my mat. Release your right leg forward. Lower your left knee to the side. Inhale up and exhale head to knee. Enjoy a few breaths here. Deepen into the pose. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. And as you come up, draw your right knee in, back to butterfly. Left leg releases in front of you. So your left leg is now straight, your right knee is bent to the side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to fold. Head to knee. And again, enjoy a few breaths here. Keep your foot flexed. Toes pointing up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. And slowly rise up and return to butterfly. A few bounces here, and then we're going to move on to our hands and knees and take a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So, there's a kitten attached to my leg. Yeah, what a choice, eh? What a choice when I made you. Right, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to take a cat-cow, but I'm not going to give you too much guidance in this because this is really about making your choice. So really feel your way into it. What feels good for you right now? So we'll start with an inhale, drop your belly, lift your head. Exhale, curl your back, push the mat away. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your head to cow. Exhale, push away from the mat into cat. Yes, cat you. From here, I want you to really find your own flow. Perhaps you continue to inhale and exhale in just straightforward cat-cows. Maybe you want to come down onto your elbows and take a few cat and cows down here. Perhaps you want to add some rotations. So inhale, up, rotate round, exhale to cat, and inhale round to cow again. Move in the way that you choose, that feels good. No one's watching, no one's looking. This is your chance to make a choice for you. What feels good to you right now? Make that choice. Follow your intuition. There is no right or wrong. And I think we get very caught up in yoga with very specific cues on what a pose should look like. And it doesn't really work like that because our bodies are all different shapes and all different sizes. And so we need to use that our intuition, very hard to concentrate with a cat attacking me. We need to use our intuition to move in a way that feels good to us and that works for our body. Okay, lovely. From there we're going to go to downward dog. So hands to the mat, hips up in down dog. And again, for your down dog, just feel your way into it. You might want to pedal your legs out. You might want to turn your toes over and come onto the nail beds and just stretch your toes out. I really like that if I've been wearing uncomfortable shoes for the day. Rock back and forth a little bit. Maybe even hips side to side. Do what feels good. And from there we're going to come into a puppy pose. So drop your knees, keep your hips stacked above your knees, but lower your arms to stretch out into a puppy pose. Again, this is allowing your third eye, your chakra or intuition. The focus is on there. Take a few breaths here. And then come up onto your elbows. Place your hands flat on the mat and tabletop. Tuck your toes and lift back up into downward dog. Okay, from our downward dog today, lift your right leg up into three-legged dog. forward in between your legs, turn your left heel and lift up to warrior one. Turn to face the front long edge of your mat into goddess pose and release your arms down. Turn your feet again back into warrior one. Release your hands behind you, lean over that front leg into humble warrior. From there, drop your hands, allow your right knee to release out, gently take a lizard pose. And then from your lizard, drop your hands, bring your left foot forward and drop into a squat or a garland pose. Try not to sit on any kittens. Promise no kittens were harmed in the making of this video. Or not yet anyway. So you're holding a nice garland or a low squat. From there, lift your hips and we're in a wide leg forward fold. And then rise up to mountain. Reach your arms up, fold, step your legs back into a plank, drop your knees, come back into that cat-cow position for tabletop. And again, just a nice intuitive cat-cow here. You can inhale as you lift your head, exhale as you round your shoulder blades, pulling them away from each other. You can take some hip rotations here, maybe dipping from side to side. And then come toes under, up into your downward dog. Again, intuitive movement. Make the choices that feel right for you. Do you want to deepen your downward dog and really aim to get those heels down on the mat? Perhaps you need to pedal your legs out a bit more. Then drop to your knees, keeping your hips above your knees. Come down, low onto your arms into puppy pose, stretching out in front of you and lowering your chest towards the mat. Make the choice that's right for you. If you need to take a block and perhaps rest your chin or your forehead on a block for puppy pose. And then bring your arms inwards. Come onto hands and knees. Lift up to downward dog. This time, left leg lifts to three-legged dog. Draw it through. Warrior one. From warrior one, we're going to then move round to goddess pose. And this time in goddess, you can do some heel lifts if that feels good. You can pulse. You can take cactus arms, open and close your arms, drawing your shoulder blades back. And then come back round, back into warrior, and take a humble warrior, folding over your front leg. Bring your hands to the mat, heel toe your foot out to the left and take a lizard. Again, you might want to rock back and forth and open up that hip. You might want to place a hand on your knee and just gently push your knee out to the side. Hands down to the mat, bring your right foot forward and come into that low squat, that garden pose. A few breaths here. And then up into your forward fold with wide legs. And curl yourself up and come back to stand in mountain. Right, we're going to take that sequence 2 more times. So if we start on the front of our mat, reach your arms up, fold forward, bring yourself back to plank, drop your knees and take your cat-cow variations. You should have found what's feeling good for you right now. And definitely about the hip rotations. But if you want to stick to a straightforward cat-cow, or as we said, elbows down, and cat-cow with elbows down. Then lift yourself up to downward dog. Stretch it out here. Or, if you feel like it, find stillness. Perhaps you're at that stage now where you're ready for stillness. Drop your knees down. Keep your hips above your knees. Stretch your arms forward and open into a puppy pose. Come up onto your elbows, hands beneath you, lift up to downward dog. From here, right leg goes up, bring it through and stand in warrior one. From your warrior one, turn to the long edge of your mat and take a goddess pose. Turn your foot back to warrior one. A humble warrior. Draw your head down towards your foot, your front foot. Lift your arms up behind you. Hands go to the mat. Heel toe your leg to the right and take a lizard. Move about in that lizard, find what feels good for you, make the choice for you. Bring your left foot forward and into squat, into garlands. Drop your hands, lift your hips into a wide forward fold. And then roll up to mountain. So final time on our left side. Reach your arms up. Fold forward. Left foot goes back first. Step into plank. Drop your knees. And enjoy a few cat-cows here. Those intuitive cat-cows. Moving in a way that feels good for you. We should be good at it now. We should know what we're doing. Bring your hands to the mat. Tuck your toes. Hips up to downward dog. From downward dog, drop your knees. Stretch your arms forward into puppy pose. Gently bring your elbows back. Hands to the mat. Tuck your toes back up to downward dog. Left leg goes up. Bring it forward. Come into your warrior one. From here, turn to the long edge of your mat. Take a goddess pose. Find the movement or the stillness. Make the choice that honours your body. Turn your legs back to warrior one. Drop your chest, take your hands behind you for a humble warrior, drawing your head towards the mat. Release your hands, heel toe your left foot out, and find yourself in lizard. From your lizard, step your right foot forward into garland squat. Perhaps you need to bounce here. Perhaps you need to push your elbows into your knees. Push your knees against your elbows. Get those counter forces. Place your hands on the mat and release up, hips up for a forward fold. And slowly lift yourself up to stand. That feels good. That feels good. There's nothing better than choosing the way you adapt a pose to feel what's right for you. Making a choice that honours your body. Okay, we are going to move on to a standing eagle balance. We've done lots of warming up of our legs. We should be really ready for this now. I want you to spread your left toes onto the mat. Take your right foot and draw it in front of your left. Wrap it behind your calf. If that's not available to you, just put it to the side, that's fine. If you can wrap it behind your calf, excellent. Right arm in front of you, left arm underneath, and come up into eagle arms. And then you can sit back. And again, make the choice that honours your body. How far do you want to sit? What feels right for you? Draw your elbows forward so you're getting a lovely shoulder stretch. If you fall out, it doesn't matter, just take it again. Wrapping that leg behind your calf. Bringing your arms. So, spread your left toes, left foot into the mat. Draw your right leg in front and wrap it behind your left calf. If you can't get it all the way behind, just wrap it to the side, that's fine. Draw it around your left calf, right arm to the front, left arm underneath, and bring your arms up into eagle arms. And then you can sit back, almost like a chair pose. This is a focus pose. Find your focus, concentrate, find your point, your focal point, your drishti. Release your arms, release your legs, shake them out. And we're going to take that on the other side. So spread your right toes into the mat. Draw your left leg in front, wrap it behind the calf if available. Left arm comes in front, right arm comes underneath. Take your eagle arms and then sit back and focus. Come out of the pose, stretch your legs out, stretch your arms out with a few shoulder shakes. Move in that intuitive way, the way where it doesn't matter what other people think, no one's looking at you, no one's watching you, you're doing what feels right for you. And let's move into our cool down. So for our cool down, I would like you to come into Sphinx pose. So elbows on the mat, hands in front of you, and lower yourself down onto your belly. Shoulders should be above your elbows. Chest pulls forward so you can lift your head. And again, choose what feels right. I know some yoga teachers like you to lift your head. Some prefer you to look down. And the reason for this is you're not crunching up your neck. So when you look up, you're actually crunching your neck up there, aren't you? If you look down during the Sphinx pose, you're making a nice straight line. So choose the position that feels right to you. You imagine you are drawing your elbows back and your chest forward. Like you're trying to drag the mat back with your elbows, whilst pulling your chest forward and in between your arms. A few breaths here. And then push yourself back into a child's pose. And we have so many variations for child's pose. You can keep your hands in front. You can draw them behind you. Perhaps you want to bring your elbows in front, clasp your hands in a prayer and take them over your head. You might want your knees wide on the mat as you take your child pose, so you're dropping your torso in between your knees. Or you might want to keep your knees together and rest your stomach on your knees. Take the variation that suits you today. And enjoy a few breaths here. Come back up into a tabletop position. We're going to thread the needle. So right arm lifts. Draw it under your left arm. Drop your right shoulder to the mat. And again, find the variation that suits your body. You might want to bring that left arm forward onto its fingertips. You might want to take that arm back behind you, reaching towards your right thigh. Take an inhale and an exhale here. Bring your left hand back to the mat. Reach up to the right again. Drop your right hand. Left hand draws up. Take your left hand under. Drop to your left shoulder. Right hand again can either come forward onto fingertips. It can remain where it is, or perhaps you reach back towards that left thigh. And enjoy a few breaths here. Right hand to the mat. Lift yourself back to tabletop and come into a seated position. So we're going to finish with a final quote from the book. Omens. If I were beginning again, starting out in life, I would ignore all omens, neither heeding them nor trying to disable them. If we choose to pass them by, then perhaps they would lose their power. So again, this is about making choices not based on superstition or what you feel you should be doing, but making choices for you. So a really nice way to end our practice today. We have opened up that third eye of intuition. We've opened up the heart chakra a lot as well and really let ourselves find those decisions that work for us. And now, as you go through for the rest of your day, I want you to continue to make choices that honour you. This whole practice has been about flowing and moving in a way that feels good to you. How amazing would it be if you took that into your life today and did things and made choices in a way that worked for you? Enjoy the rest of your day.